JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 18th of March, 2022. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's live session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which is also updated on a daily basis. So you have to check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, guys, jumping into the charts, the first one actually I'm going to pick up here is Nikkei 225, as always. So yep, we're pushing nicely to the upside, and yep, we managed to end the week in positive territory. There we go. So we broke the kind of the 4-week, losing streak here, and look at this. I mean, we pushed higher. We kind of almost covered in this week. We kind of almost recovered all the losses made during a month, let's put it this way. So we did that all in 1 week. Of course, not all the losses of the month here, but in general, yeah, it's kind of close, I would say. But either way, we broke the downside line here, taken from the high of the 5th of January. We pushed higher, yes, and we continue to push higher. So yeah, my next target is the 27,000 mark. We're not far from that, and if that gets clear, to be honest, I'm aiming for that 100-day EMA here. So first things first, of course, I'm aiming for that 27,000 mark. As I said, if it gets a hold up here, maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. But if it gets clear, then my next target is the 100-day EMA, together with the 200-day EMA here on our daily chart. But excuse me. For now, I'm just gonna aim for this. Now, jumping into Shanghai Composite, and Shanghai Composite did push nicely to the upside. Yesterday, I talked about this, and I said that be very careful because, it's a little bit tricky here. Maybe because I said maybe we could see this one. Let's say if it opens lower, then we could see maybe an island reversal here. But I said to you as well yesterday that keep your eyes on the European and the U.S. equities, and well, those managed to push nicely to the upside. So yeah, I would say at the moment, everything's kind of looking quite positive, somewhat. The only thing is that I have a problem with this 3,260 level. So as you can see, it acted as a fantastic area of resistance. So in order for me to go for some higher levels, yes, a push above this barrier would be needed. So if, let's say, the European and the US indices continue to move higher today, then, well, we could see this one maybe, this index pushing above this hurdle on the cash index. The cash index, we could see the bit pushing above this hurdle, and then yep, aiming for that 21-day EMA. But we'll get to that point. And another thing, for example, that 21-day EMA could come in perfectly with this little hurdle right here, the 3,326 zone, and that because it could coincide with that 21-day EMA by the time, let's say, it could travel a little bit higher here. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index, also beautiful move to the upside, or shall we say, It was a beautiful move initially to the upside, but then it kind of sold off and kind of remained flat for the day. Yeah, it still is flat for today. I mean, don't get me wrong, we still have around like 50 something minutes left of trading here. We are testing that 21-day EMA, or should I say we've tested that 21-day EMA. Now the big question here is, can we see a move above it? Now, if in order for me to go for some higher levels, I would like to see a break of that 21-day EMA, and then yes, more buyers could join in here. At the moment, I'm being very careful, and to be honest, this is like the last trading day here for Hang Seng Index as well. So yeah, maybe we'll leave it for next week. But if next week we pop above that 21-day EMA, then yeah, I'll go for a larger correction to the upside, because as you can see, we're still below some of these downside lines. Now jumping into Dax, the German index. So yeah, yesterday it kind of was a little bit weird. I mean, it did push higher initially, but then failed to do so, and kind of and drifted back down. So in a way, I would say for now, be very careful. And this is the thing, this hurdle, this 14,567 territory, I spoke about that level and said that if we pop above it, then I'll aim for that downside line, which could provide a bit of resistance. But as we can see right now, that somehow this hurdle is doing the job right now. So this is the area I'm watching. If we do pop above this, then yeah, I'll go for slightly higher levels. But if we don't, then I'll remain a little bit on the careful side, because to be honest, I mean, looking at this, I mean, if it falls somewhere below this 14,244 zone, we might see maybe a bit of a corrective move lower. However, some of you probably have something like this drawn here. It's all fine, it's all okay, I would say, but because it's way too steep, I mean, it doesn't really kind of have much room here for for movement. However, if it starts drifting lower here and it falls below that 14,000 territory, somewhere around here, or 14,082 zone initially, I would say. If it falls below this, this would already be, this would already place the index below the below this one upside line, below the 21-day EMA, and potentially more sellers could join in. But at the moment, yeah, at the moment, I would say we're still above this steep upside lines. There is still hope here for the bulls. However, I would prefer to wait for a push above this 14,567 territory first, and then go higher. Now, jumping into IBEX 35. Now, I don't look at this one very often. As you can see, last time I've kind of looked at it here. So let me remove all the drawings and let me start fresh. Now, beautiful V-shaped recovery. I mean, yes, that's no doubt about it. Beautiful move to the upside, after kind of falling sharply around here in the beginning of March. And yeah, okay, so there is still plenty of room for the upside, to be honest. We could still go and test that 200-day EMA, and initially that's what I'm aiming here for. Now, one thing that I'm also keeping an eye on is this kind of medium-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 1st of November. And yeah, if we do push a little bit higher here, if we get a hold up near this 8,510 zone, maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. However, if we pop above it and yeah, we climb above this hurdle, then initially aiming for that 100 and the 200-day EMAs. But if those get cleared, then of course this downside resistance line. So let's keep an eye on that one. For the downside on this one, I would like to see actually a drop somewhere maybe below this little hurdle. Not here, but around here, this 8,092, 93 zone. Certainly we do have the psychological 8,000 level as well, so somewhere around here basically. But yeah, there we go, that's probably a better level, so that could be the next target. Either way, guys, if we do fall below that 21-day EMA, we could start slowly aiming lower, aiming for that 8,093 territory, or even that psychological 8,000 level, and then we will take it from there. But at the moment we're still above that 21-day EMA. We could get a bit of a corrective move lower, that's fine, that's okay, but like I said, continue monitoring that 21-day EMA. The S&P 500, so good move to the upside, guys, and this is what I talked about yesterday. I said that initially I'll be aiming for that 200-day EMA. So yesterday the S&P kind of closed the same as Dow with 1.23% gain. Nasdaq was the best performer, but I'll get to that point in a bit. Actually, it seems like Nasdaq 100. Nasdaq 100 was not better than Nasdaq Composite was better than the Nasdaq and then the S&P and Dow. Okay, but I'll get to in a bit to Nasdaq. Yeah, so we had a push higher here, so kind of mission accomplished, I would say. I said to you as well that 4,416, 17 area, that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on as well. So we managed to, reach that nicely. And this is where we got a hold up. I think the cash index is currently, it's stalling below it a little bit. So we're somewhere, I think, around we're somewhere around the 200-day EMA right now. So that's going to be quite interesting to see. If you remember, what I said yesterday, that let's see if this is not going to be something like that. Let's see if this is not going to end up being somewhat of a range here. However, if this, if the upper side here, if this barrier gets broken, then we'll go for some higher levels. But at the moment, I'm being very careful. We already had quite a decent rally, I would say, to the upside, this week. If we look at a weekly chart, I mean, we did have a good run. Maybe a bit of a setback here could be possible. However, all depends on this barrier. If it holds, if it provides strong resistance, then yes, and we might see maybe a nice little corrective move lower. Now, in terms of the little correction lower here, and this is where I will revert to my friend Fibonacci here, and there we go. So somewhere around here, it was somewhere around here was the top, and in a way, for now, I would say if it corrects lower, then keep your eyes on that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is roughly around that 4,354, 53 zone. So approximately around here, guys. So like I said, that is if we will correct lower. However, if we do correct lower towards this 23.6, that would be like kind of wiping out all the gains, almost wiping out all the gains from yesterday. So let's be very careful with this. Again, at the moment, like I said, we are sitting here near this 200-day EMA. If it provides a good kind of resistance, I would say, because at the moment it's kind of seen as a resistance. So if it provides good resistance, maybe that move towards that 23.6% retracement would not be a problem. That's, like I said, that's in the case in the kind of the bearish scenario. The positive, the bullish scenario is, of course, on a break of this 4,417 zone. If we get a nice push above that, then we'll go for some higher levels. Nasdaq 100, so good move to the upside as well, but so far so good. I mean, we held near this, we drifted lower at one point, and this 21-day EMA did provide good support, and there we go, we managed to push nicely to the upside. We climbed higher, but as I said to you previously, that I'm watching this line right here, the potential for maybe to see here a falling channel pattern. If that's the case, then maybe we're not really done with the downside yet, guys. So at the moment, be very careful, be very cautious. Of course, as always, the cash index is currently trading at around near that psychological 14,000 mark, and just maybe slightly above it, actually. So yesterday, if it closed, if it closed kind of above that 14,100 zone, today it's already kind of just fractionally above the psychological 14,000 mark. So, in other words, for now, guys, be very careful. If we do correct a little bit lower here, then I'll aim for that 21-day EMA. If that's the case, if we do correct lower today, I'll aim for that 21-day EMA initially. The level where it is currently, it's roughly, on my chart here, it's roughly around that 13,868 zone. DXY, the dollar index. So, beautiful rebound, guys. I mean, I talked about this being maybe a possible range. Again, let's see if that's going to be the case. For now, it's working out. So, for now, the 97.80 zone is doing its job and is providing a good hold up together with that 21-day EMA. So let's see if we can get a nice rebound here, and if we can, then we could see this one pushing back up here, and basically just confirming a nice little range here. So one thing that I can redraw here is something like this. So yeah, if we might see a push higher here, and if maybe this downside line will hold. Let's see. Again, let's see. For now, I would say as long as it stays above this 97.80 zone, I will aim for the upside. If it drops below this, then yep, this is where we could lean more towards the downside and towards a larger correction to the downside. Yeah. Gold. So the yellow metal here pushed nicely to the upside. So we got we pushed above the 21-day EMA, but we got a hold up near this 1950 zone. So what I talked about previously is that I was saying that in a way, if we do see a hold up near that 21-day EMA, then yes, maybe another decline here could be possible. However, we drifted a little bit more to the upside. We found resistance near the 1950 zone, and yeah, now we're seeing that nice little corrective move lower. However, will this be a significant one, a significant move to the downside? Well, we'll just have to wait and see, because at the moment here, it's and some of you probably could see this as a very not very beautiful head and shoulders pattern. However, guys, there's a neckline that has to be broken, and to be honest, that neckline doesn't really match up here nicely. So I would rather stick to some of the levels. So what I'm keeping an eye on for today, for example, is this 1929 zone. We're not far from that, so that's the inside swing high of the 16th of March. If we drop below that, then we'll go for some lower levels, and potentially aiming for that lowest point, the current lowest point of this week, near the 1895 zone. But again, let's not rush into anything. Let's keep an eye on this little hurdle. If we do drop below it, then yes, I'll go, like I said, I'll go again for the downside. For the upside, what I would prefer, first of all, I need to get rid of this upside line, no longer needed. And what I'm going to keep an eye on right now is, I need to adjust this level here, there we go. What I'm going to keep an eye on here is this 1950 zone, of course. If we pop above it, then I'll go slowly to the upside. My other strong area of resistance could be near this 1974 area, but if that gets cleared, well, guess what? Higher levels could be met, guys. So at the moment, long story short, if you're looking for some upside, at least wait for a push above that 1950 zone. Here it's very tricky. It's kind of even, let's say, I would say even leaning a little bit more towards the downside. So yeah, be very careful, guys. US oil, WTI oil. So very quickly on that one. Yesterday also I talked about this. I said that if the 21-day EMA provides good resistance, then another decline here could be possible. However, as you can see, it did not. It did not provide good resistance, and instead, as what I said previously to you, that if we pop and stay above that 104 territory, then yeah, I'll go for some higher levels. And at the moment, okay, yesterday we didn't stay above it. Now this is where the tricky bit comes in. So yesterday it didn't stay above that 104 zone. Yes, today we're popping above it, but it's only like, it's the beginning of the trading session, or it's an early morning here in Europe here. So yeah, I mean, it still could change, and again, oil is really driven, news headline driven, so yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster, guys. I mean, it does present good rewards. However, if it presents good rewards for those who manage to capture it correctly and have a stop loss in place, let's put it this way, because these, we have these swings lately. I mean, it's not like, for example, as we're climbing gradually here to the upside, like, for example, from the beginning of December, when, your daily kind of range was not, was not that big, but comparison to this, wow. This, of course, yes, it provides good opportunities, but if you manage to, capture the correct direction. So, in other words, I would say if you want to trade oil nowadays, at the moment, then you jump into oil, but only with the amount that you're comfortable of losing. Because it's gonna work that way, guys. I mean, it's nothing really guaranteed here. So even, let's say, when I say, for example, this 104 zone, yes, we popped nicely above that area, but again, during the course of the day, it could quickly shift back down here. It could just basically, and if it could shift back down and stay below that 104 zone, and this way we will get ourselves just a false breakout. So in other words, if we are looking for some upside, yes, currently one of the criteria is working out, or sorry, a couple of the criteria are working out. We are above the 21-day EMA, we are above that 104 zone, so yeah, all fine. But if it starts, shifting back below this 104 zone, then the last kind of option here for the bulls to step in is somewhere near that 21-day EMA. But if that fails to hold, then well, a drift back down could be possible. Jumping into Bitcoin very quickly. So a bit of a corrective move lower. However, this is where the interesting bit comes in. So if we're just examining this little pattern, we could be seeing a possible bullish flag. So we're seeing a little bit of consolidation. Maybe, going into the weekend, we could see this one drifting a little bit more towards the downside, maybe even testing that 21-day EMA, and in general, kind of forming this nice bullish pattern. Could be the case. Either way, if it is seen as a bullish flag, if it will be a bullish flag, then still I would like to see a push above the 41,788 zone, and then yeah, we could go for some higher levels. Jumping into a few pairs very quickly before I run out of time. Aud USD, very, very interesting, guys. I mean, we look at this beautiful recovery, and look at this beautiful rebound here. We pushed higher. We climbed above all the EMAs here. We even at one point today we were already above this downside line, but there we go, boom. We are back below this line, and the big question here for me is, will we stay today here below this hurdle? Will this week kind of end below this downside line? So yeah, I mean, on one hand everything's looking quite positive. On the other hand, we're struggling with one of the obstacles here. So that's where my the current highest point of March comes in, near the 0.7441 zone, and in order for me to go for some higher levels, I'll aim for that. I'll need a pop above that level. Then I will target the highest point of October of last year, and then we'll take it from there. AUD also beautiful move to the upside, guys. Look at this. I mean, this is just unstoppable. It seems like that. To be honest, for now I'm continuing to aim higher, and I'm continuing to draw these upside lines here. And if it continues to trade above this nice beautiful fan here, then yeah. There is still hope for the bulls here. I mean, we could still see this one pushing further north, and to be honest, we do have some space where to go. We do have, for example, this little area here, this 89.089 level. Beautiful number, by the way. So yeah, we have this hurdle here. That's going to be my next target. I'm going to be aiming for that, and yeah, that's in a way, the highest point of January of 2018, or in other words, the highest point of 2018. USD CAD. So one of my lately least favorite pairs. So yeah, oil jumped higher, and we saw Canadian dollar strengthening a little bit here. So we saw this, and of course the fact that the DXY was a little bit on the lower side here. So yeah, all this kind of combo kind of worked out nicely here for the USD CAD sellers. Now the problem is that this little hurdle here, this 1.2587, let's see if we can break that. For now I'm leaning towards the downside just because we're already below all of the EMAs. However, don't get me wrong, that doesn't really mean, that might not even mean a lot of things, because basically, we had a drop below the 200-day EMA, below all of the EMAs here back in the beginning of March, but then look at what happened. We drifted a little bit lower. Oh, sorry guys, I think I went blank there. Oh, there we go, I think. Okay. Okay, it happens. There we go. So guys, just a second. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now then, like I said, if it might drift, you know, to the. Oh, bear with me one moment, guys. Something is incorrect here. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now, because yeah, I had a bit of a problem with the cables here. Okay. Yeah, so hopefully this is better now. Anyway, guys, like I said, with my problem here with USD CAD is the fact that we are kind of, yes, below all of the EMAs here, but it might quickly change, you know, like it did here in the beginning of March. So you know, it could still climb back up, and you know, if it climbs back above this 1.2694 zone, I'll aim for the upside again. Gbpncd, watching this one, this has been a beautiful move here back up, and like it then back down. So if you remember previously, I talked about this, and to be honest, right now this is looking like a bit of consolidation area here. Initially I was thinking that maybe this could be seen as a diamond formation, but it's not really like a very beautiful diamond, but you know, so something, if I can find a let's try this one maybe. So no, it's, I think, there we go. So something like this. So yeah, there we go. I don't know if you can see it or not. I mean, I tried to draw it a diamond, but yeah, it's not an ideal one. So okay, so we can get rid of it for now. Basically, the easiest part is to just keep an eye on the current kind of lowest point of March near the 1.9041 zone, and as you could break below it, would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and the next target here could be that lowest point of November. GBP and GBP USD. So we're still above this downside line, steep downside line. Yesterday we tried to climb above this hurdle, this 1.3195. We did so, but we quickly drifted back down. So yeah, we're now kind of, you know, back below this hurdle. I'm still not giving up on this. If we see DXY dropping suddenly to the downside, we could see, you know, GBP USD pushing nicely higher, but I still, for the upside, I need to see a pop above this 1.3195 level again. For the downside, again, if this is going to be classed as a nice doji potential reversal signal, then yeah, a move back down could be possible, and this is where probably this downside line needs to go, because could be no longer valid. So yeah, so be very careful if you're looking maybe for a move lower here. I would say it's tricky. I mean, I would keep an eye maybe on something like this here. So 1.3089, a drop below that could, yep, lead the pair towards the current lowest point of March, and then so on, which is roughly around that psychological 130 zone. Euro JPY, very quickly on that one before I run out of time. Oh, by the way, Rene, yeah, I can see you in chat room. Thank you very much for your comment, Rene. Yep, like I said, I really appreciate it, and yeah. And I'm happy that the screens are back as well. Yeah. Euro JPY, monster move here to the upside, guys, and yeah, beautiful V-shaped recovery. And to be honest, I'm not giving up on this one. I think that this might continue traveling higher, especially if it pops above this 131.91 zone right here, because it's currently getting a hold up. Again, we did have quite a decent up move here. Of course, somebody's hoping for a bit of a retracement here. Could be the case. If, let's say, we do stay below this hurdle, below this 131.91 zone, then what you can keep an eye on here is, of course, my favorite Fibonacci. So somewhere around here. But to be honest, we might pop a little bit higher here, and then let's say if we, let's put it this way, this is what I'm trying to guess right now. I'll see if I can guess it correctly. So if we push a little bit higher here, but maybe towards that 132.20 132.12 zone, somewhere around here. If we find the resistance and then drift back down, fall below the 131.90 zone, yep, this is where I'm going to consider maybe a move towards that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is kind of perfectly coinciding with this hurdle. Again, this is what I made it to look like. This is probably me trying to, make it, predict the future correctly. But again, let's not rush into anything. I'll take the Fibonacci. I'll put it later. I'll draw it later. But for at the moment, yeah, if we pop above this 131.90 zone, then yeah, I'll go for slightly higher levels. And finally, EURUSD. We had an attempt, good attempt to break this downside line and stay above this hurdle, this 1.1121. But as you can see, we just got a false breakout, so and we're now drifting back down. So in other words, we're stuck here still in between these two lines. So what, as I said before, I need to see a clear break, and I need to see that body of the daily candle staying above that 1.1121 zone, and then I could go for some higher levels. At the moment, I'm not getting that, so I'm just observing the price action. So guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Sorry for rushing through the last instruments a little bit, too fast, but either way, guys, I mean, really appreciate your, your views, your likes, your comments, guys. I really do. So thank you very much for, watching my videos this whole week. I hope you'll watch them next week as well. So join me on Monday, 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Don't overtrade. Today's Friday, guys. Have your stop losses in place. If you are, let's say nicely in profit this week, I mean, you can even leave it like that. So it just, just not to overtrade. But if you are, let's say, in a minus, you can try to do something. But again, if you see that it's not going, maybe it's just this week. So there's always next week, and believe me, there are plenty of opportunities. There will be plenty of opportunities next week as well. So have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.